Hey guys, welcome to F122 again here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. Thank you for your support on the return of this content, whether it be this or the F1 Manager. There would have been a video of that uploaded earlier in the week. This is the second episode that we've returned to F122 with, and in our returning race, we ended the first half of the season in the points and with a fastest lap, albeit aided by strategy. So I'm hoping for continued improvement as we push forward into the second half of the season. You can see from the R&D chart that we're still very much up there in the midfield, and with further improvements on the way, and hopefully even more so after we've done our practice programs in France, then we could be making strides towards the upper reaches, and maybe by the end of the season, if everyone else's progression slows, and if we're lucky with regulation changes, we might be fighting for podiums come the end of the season. I'd love to be fighting for podiums come the end of the season. Fully dry weekend, other than quali, which is going to be raining all the way. So we'll see what we can do in quali, but not overly confident there. We will have the opportunity to set a couple of extra upgrades on the way once we've done qualifying. It's the aero side of things where we need to improve next, I think. Weight reduction is at 1250. We could do weight reduction and one of the others. And I think I asked in the comment section of the last video where I should spend my points, basically. And I need to double check the comment section to see what you guys said. We should do that in due course, because I will act upon what you said in this episode. So drop this video a like if you're enjoying, of course, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more. Come and join me on Twitch, link in the description down below, and you can watch all of these live as they happen and see all of the behind the scenes as well. But for now, I'm going to jump into practice as we always do, and I will see you after it. So we use the custom setup. We got exactly the same. No, we don't use the custom setup. We use the preset. We got exactly the same time with the custom as we did with the preset. But we were so much faster down the straights with the preset, which is going to be much more beneficial for the race. So we will go with the preset, retire from session. We were P1 in that session. Whether we end there or not, I don't know. It's because we did our qualifying practice program and others didn't. P3 in the end. Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon, the only two to drive faster than us. This is our first race weekend, of course, with Jenson Button as our new teammate. So we'll wait and see how good he can be in comparison to Nico Hülkenberg. But I'm going to quick practice and maximise my resource points, and then I shall see you in a moment. Right, so everything's done. We've got all our resource points and all of our developmental boosts acquired. Hopefully Jenson Button, in his first Grand Prix weekend, first set of practice sessions with us, can earn a decent amount, and he has. He's earned 600. Thank you, Jenson. Appreciate that very much indeed. 2,600 resource points available to us. It's probably enough to do the weight reduction and maybe something else. But there were some that were 1,400 and some that were 1,600, and I'm not sure we're going to have enough to do both. Let's have a look. We'll do the chassis first. That was 1,200 for the weight reduction. 1,250. Only a 20% chance of failure of that one. And then DRS is 1,400. I've only got 1,399. So I actually can't afford to do either front or rear downforce, but I don't want to just spend it on the DRS. So we will wait until we can afford to do the others. ERS isn't that important. We can't do any of these other ones until we've upgraded our facilities. So we'll hold on to the resource points we've got, and then we'll do front or rear downforce as our next one when we've earned a little bit more. But for now, time to head into a wet qualifying session. This is the unknown. And it's a 1:39.4, which isn't... Well, there's definitely time on the table there, because we had some oversteer moments 3 or 4 times. Jenson Button's right with me. We're only a second off George. Find out after everyone's done their runs whether that was or was not a decent time. It turns out it was not great. Ah, that's because it's drying up. So then, time to adjust the car setup. Put that back down to 8. And let's go do a soft time, shall we? So we don't really know from our delta, whether we are or are not faster than we were before. I think Jensen's pulling away from me, to be honest. So we are going to do a 31.9, which is good enough for, judging by my steering wheel and that graphic now, P14. So through to Q2, which is good news, and saving tyres as well because of the wet start to quali. So that's also good news for the race. Jensen Button was 0.3 faster than me, which is also good news because it means that our teammate actually has some pace for the first time, and we didn't negatively affect the time of Daniel Ricciardo too much. He still made it through despite being stuck behind me at the end of that lap. There's probably a couple of tenths in it for me, but not much. I wouldn't expect us to start any higher than 14th, to be honest. But we do have a bit of an advantage on those behind. A couple of tenths safe, so that's good news as well. But overall, quite pleased with that. Now let's keep that going into Q2. Still P13 as everyone else is crossing the line at the minute, which will be a really good starting position for us, albeit we're not going to get through to Q3. Let's see. We cross the line in P12. I'll take P12 as a qualifying starting place for this French Grand Prix. Certainly do something from there, can't we? Especially having, well, I mean, everybody's technically saved a set of tyres, haven't they, because of the rain in Q1, but still, our tyre wear in practice was decent. Jensen is actually well off the pace, so I'm not really too pleased with that. He put in a much better time in Q1 though, so we know that he does have the pace. He did a 31.7 in Q1. I did a 31.9. 32, no, it was a 32.1, wasn't it? We did, oh, I can't remember. 31.9. Yeah, a 31.9, and he did a 31.7. I've now done a 31.4, and he's gone half a second slower, so he must have had a negatively impacted lap, because he's definitely faster than that. But he's not 1:31.7 from Q1, would still have had him in 14th anyway. It was noted by Twitch chat, and I didn't notice, that George Russell out of qualifying in Q1. I hadn't noticed that at the time, but P12 is a very solid starting position for us. We'll be very pleased with that. And points, maybe, here in France. P12 is where we finished last year's French Grand Prix. We have to hope that we can pull something out the bag here. Continually, though, Esteban Ocon is much faster than me, but that's because the Alpine is now the second fastest car on track, and we're not even close to that. Grand Prix time. So the grid after Q3 will line up as follows. Lewis Hamilton on pole with Charles Leclerc second. Obviously, George Russell failed to get through Q1, so he'll be starting right at the back. We'll see if there's any penalties that can maybe move us slightly further forward than P12. Verstappen and Alonso in 3 and 4. Sainz and Ocon. The Alpine is just so fast. Both McLarens there in 7 and 8. No. Looks like we're probably going to be P12. We are. Nobody in front of us taking a penalty. Alex Albon is really genuinely fast in that Aston Martin. Sebastian Vettel is just not able to match it at all, and Russell must have had an impacted lap in Q1 because he surely has more pace in the car than that. Teo Porcher and Latifi at the back. Latifi a full 2 seconds slower than even P21. Not sure how much longer Nicholas Latifi is going to last in real life F1, and certainly I don't think he should be lasting much longer in this save either. It reckons I can extend by a lap or so with my tyres, because we have decent race pace, or decent tyre wear even, and everybody in front of us is starting medium or hard. So I would be inclined to also start on the medium tyre and then be soft at the end. I think that might be the best way for us to go about this. I'm not going to 3-stop, although apparently 3 stops is... oh, it's only 4 seconds different on each set of softs. So if I do 25 laps on the mediums, then 14 laps on each of the softs, then that could be a strategy that earns us some extra time, takes some extra fuel out. I just don't see me needing 6 laps worth of extra fuel. Surely we don't drink fuel that quickly here. Surely we don't need 6 laps worth of extra fuel. 5.5 laps in itself seems ludicrous, but that's how we'll do it. Time for the Grand Prix, or at least the formation lap, to then start the Grand Prix. We'll probably get swallowed a bit at the beginning by the soft runners, but I'm hoping with some hard runners in front of us, like Yuki Tsunoda, they might act as a bit of a moving roadblock, and we might be able to still hold position. The aim is points, I think, here. The aim is points. How far the other drivers go on their softs will dictate how early we pit off our mediums. Because from qualifying's experience, those soft tyres did 2 runs and were already significantly worn. It's not bad. Not bad. Tyre temps were pretty decent, but with soft drivers around us, I'm expecting to fall backwards at the start to then move forwards towards the end. It's a very tight grid, isn't it? Not that wider start-finish straight here. You see the start that Albon got there and the start that the others have gotten around us. Yuki's not in P11's not really zipped up at all there. It's all the soft runners that are going ham. We are going to lose significant positions. He'll try and sneak around the outside like Daniel Ricciardo has there, but I'm not really going to filter back in that well. It is going to be soft runner heaven initially. If I can just be a bit brave around the outside here, we can make a couple of positions. Okay, so it's P15. Jensen's still on my inside, so I'm going to have to run wide here. Okay, P15. P12 to P15 at the start. And you notice that Yuki Tsunoda has gone P11 to P14, so the hard runner has also lost positions as well. And that's what we expected. So, actually, the start has gone as we thought it might. Not a bad first lap. Not a great first lap. Obviously, losing 3 positions is not great, but in terms of overall race strategy for the full Grand Prix, it's not a bad start. We want these tyres to go to lap 25. Hopefully, perhaps even a little bit longer than lap 25, but we'll wait and see. Car is definitely very understeery with a full fuel load on board. Yellow flag somewhere. Behind us, I think. Safety car deployed. Okay, there's been an accident somewhere. What's there been an accident for? Actually, I've no idea where to look. Presumably, it's behind me. Let's have a look at the race director. And Nicholas Latifi has had a collision with Théo Pourchaire. So let's look behind us. What's the safety car come out for? This is Latifi and Pourchaire, so it's going to be here, isn't it? That's what it's come out. The safety car's come out because there's some front wing debris? Or is Latifi retiring? Latifi... No, he's continuing on. I don't know what Latifi's doing. But the safety car's out, which will help us in terms of our stint, which means we certainly now... Latifi's actually retired, so he must have had more damage than just the front wing loss. There must have been some sort of suspension damage there that the game just doesn't quite have the damage model to show. So this will help extend our medium stint. I mean, we definitely should be perfectly fine on the 2 soft stints at the end of the Grand Prix. It will only be 1 lap behind the safety car, really, because, quite frankly, everyone is already together, so it's not like someone's pitting for damage or anything. Well, someone might pit for damage if they've picked some up, but at the time being, I think it's just going to be 1 lap behind the safety car. The safety car will come in, and then we'll be off racing again. So it probably might not even change the nature of the strategy all that much. Safety car not in this lap. We took another lap behind the safety car. That's unnecessary, but okay. Maybe the safety car, just with the way the game's coded, can't come in the same lap it comes out. Definitely don't need to do another lap, but never mind. Okay, prepare to resume racing. Safety car's in. And Lewis Hamilton is now the de facto safety car. And at some point around this turn, they will gun it and we're off.
We've got a lot of spare energy.
I know, I've got a lot of spare energy. We've saved loads of fuel now.
Green flag.
So I don't see any scenario in which we need to save fuel between now and the end. And I am going to be under pressure now from everyone behind me. I need to try and stick with Yuki, really. I need to hope that Yuki can stick with those in front of him as well. Wheel spin there always kills me. I'm terrible at coming out of that turn. I'm under pressure from Button, who equally is under pressure from George Russell. This could be awkward. George got tucked up behind me. Teammates alongside me. I'll leave him room. Albeit not much, but we did leave him room. He got caught on the apex though. And now Russell's past him. Obviously we fully expect to get overtaken by George Russell anyway, so it's not really too much of a surprise when he goes past us. He's on soft tyres too. Although we did expect to get overtaken by George Russell in Canada and didn't. We were able to hold him off for the win. Yuki is losing ground on those soft runs in front of him though, but like we say, it's to be expected. So our tyre strategy was pit 25, but I think we can probably pit 27 or 8 now, hopefully, if our tyres last. We're on lap 6 already. So Yuki's car slipping a little bit there. Now George will come for me, as we also closing in on Yuki. I'll try and do the same to George that I did to Nico. Not Nico, Jensen. It's just force of habit, isn't it, saying Nico. And we've held George Russell off. DRS will be enabled from the next lap. So provided we can stick with the AlphaTauri through the first sector, we should have DRS down the main straight, or down the back straight, sorry. We're going to have DRS, but we're also a long way off Yuki there. Because I'm slow around that. I'm slow around the two right-handers leading into this straight. Means I'm just always vulnerable here. I need to be better in the lead onto this straight. George is coming. Jensen's coming too. George Russell's going to get me here. Just soft tyres are just too grippy. I've also got Jensen on the inside of me. I think I've referred to him as Nico Hulkenberg about 3 times already. Of course, the plan is we'll be able to do the same to them when we're on the softs and they're on the mediums. And it's not like those soft runners are getting a long way away in front, is it? We're still within a few seconds. It's not like they're an entire pit stop ahead of us by now.
Car in front is a second a lap faster, 1 second.
More out around here, it's this right-hander I suck at. They just pull away from me like mad through there. George is right behind Yuki. Right behind him. I don't think there's any way that Tsunoda can hold on to the position here unless he gets very brave up the inside into this turn. Which, to be fair, he tried to do. But George got the better of him. There's a bit of a train forming behind the Aston Martin of Alex Albon, according to the minimap. No DRS for Yuki though, which is good news. Jensen's going to have a look, but I'm going to try and hold him off. Which we've done. Nice to have a feisty teammate though, isn't it? I'm not really helping his Grand Prix here, to be fair. We might be able to get Yuki into turn 1 here. And with a bit of battery, I'm going to try and do it. It's a tough overtaking spot. But we've gotten it done. That's Yuki Tsunoda dealt with, up to P15. He's still obviously going to be right with us down the next straight. So we might lose the position back again. But being in front of Yuki means that hopefully he can now be the block for those cars behind.
2.3 seconds.
And we can try and get away a bit. Maybe. Have to rely on a bit of battery though to do so. If I can get a full second ahead of Yuki, which we have now done, then that could be huge for us. Try and stay a full second ahead if I can, but it's like he's just going to get back within a second, or is he? I'm not sure where I'm not sure what the gap was as we went through the detection point. We'll find out in a moment. Does Yuki have DRS? Let's find out. No, he doesn't. Good. George and Zhou Guan Yu. It's actually Stroll. Stroll's having a battle now. Lance Stroll's just lost 2 places down that straight to Zhou Guanyu and to George Russell. Has he got damage, the Alpha? No, he's got Zhou Guanyu. Zhou Guanyu going past him. He's trying to defend from Zhou. And as he defends from Zhou, he gets caught on the... Oh, he locks up as well and runs into George. He might have some damage from that, actually, then, Lance. Hopefully so. Would lead to an early pit stop for him. Seb Vettel is past Yuki behind, so Sebastian Vettel will close up on me now. Annoyingly, the first car to get past isn't my teammate. Jensen is still stuck behind Yuki, but not to worry. No damage for Stroll. No, yes. Oh, okay. Multiple in the pits. Multiple in the pits on lap 11. So surely they didn't all get damage. Gasly, Zhou, Lewis Hamilton, and... no, George Russell, was it? George and Yuki all in the... Not Yuki. Yeah, Yuki pit. Did Yuki pit? I think Yuki pit. I think they all got damage from that. Yeah, Pierre, Zhou, Lance, and Russell. So no, Yuki didn't pit. So we're actually now P11. Now whether they pit for damage or it was just a tactical pit for another set of softs, I'm not sure. If it was just a tactical pit for another set of softs, that would indicate that even with safety car running for 2 laps, the soft tyres didn't last any longer than 11. And we were kind of hoping to do 14 on 2 sets of softs. So we might be in a bit of an awkward position sooner rather than later. I'll have a look. Did any of them pit for damage? No, just tactical pit stops for them all. Now, if they're going soft, 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 if they're 3-stopping, then that would make sense. And we might still be able to do our 2-stop with 14 laps and not worry about it. It depends. I can't remember where the stop was for a 3-stop. 4.7 seconds to Daniel Ricciardo on hard tyres, but in a Red Bull. So you expect yellow flag. You expect yellow flag. You expect that he's going to be going. Oh, I'm too busy looking at the minimap trying to see what happened with that Ferrari. You expect that Daniel will still be. You expect that Daniel will still be fast. There was a Ferrari going slow. Has he gone into the pits? He has. Charles Leclerc is in the pits. And as is my teammate now as well. And Sebastian Vettel. Okay. So Charles Leclerc pitting with his hard tyres though. That must be for damage. Must be for damage, surely. Let's have a look. Got any damage, Charles? It doesn't look like he's got any damage, but there's no reason why he should stop off his hard tyres. I wouldn't have thought. Not at this stage. Surely not. We're up into the points though. P10. So we're out on these mediums until lap 25. We're halfway there and the tyres are 24% worn. So we might end up being forced into a 3-stop ourselves. Or just running on really, really worn rubber. We'll try and gauge it off Gasly. Because in theory, if they're 3-stopping, that means that Gasly now has 2 stops left, and I have 2 stops left. So, Pierre Gasly is our marker, really. There are some other soft runners, like Alexander Albon, that are taking their soft tyres that much further. Right, we're lap 16 now, and Alex Albon hasn't yet stopped. So it is possible to take the soft tyres 14 laps. It's just a case of how fast you are when you get there. Albon continues. Okay, we can definitely 2-stop them. We will be slow on worn rubber, but I think a 2-stop might be the way forward. Plus, you're right, we'll have less fuel on board, so we won't quite be as harsh on our tyres. Medium hard would work, as in the tyres would last, but I think it's not the right call overall race time wise. I think the pace on the hards would just be too slow. And you are absolutely right in chat. Albon and Ricciardo were fighting, but Albon is now in the pits. It gained us about a second on Daniel. Verstappen's in the pits as well. He's going to mediums now. Oh no, he started on mediums, didn't he? So Max will be going medium, soft, soft, presumably. That's us up to P8. Albon did go to medium tyres, so that's intriguing. Albon to mediums is intriguing. To go to mediums after the soft is odd. Maybe he's going soft, medium, soft. Verstappen's gone hard, medium. So his hards haven't lasted that long at all. Charles went hard, soft. Because there's no way those medium tyres go all the way to the end, surely. You have to do 30, 35 laps on them. I wish we're going to struggle to do 25 on ours. So there's no way he takes those 35 laps. IMO. Tsunoda now has Gasly right behind him. Ideally, I need Yuki to hold him up, but that's not going to happen. Gasly will breeze past Yuki Tsunoda and then storm up to the back of me. To be fair, Gasly's soft tyres will start to be wearing soon, won't they? They did 11 laps on their first set and they're still 6 seconds behind and nearly have done 11 laps on the next set. Russell is now taking Gasly as well. They're battling. I'm going to two-stop. The fact that they're all together in a gaggle and just costing each other time is going to play in our favour. We're just going to run our race, our two-stop race, and hopefully score points at the end of it. It's a lot of running on our own, which isn't great for the YouTube video, but it's still the best outcome for our race. Sainz is in the pits off his hards onto mediums now. We're up to P5 for the time being. So we'll try and push this set of mediums to lap 27. That'll leave us 13 laps per stint. Okay, the team are offering me something now as well. We'll have a look and see what that is in a moment. They want me to go to hards. So the team reckon the fastest way to the end is actually the hard tyre with a one-stop now. I'll be honest, I am sorely tempted. But I don't think I'm going to be fast enough on the hard tyre to be able to pull it off. I will keep current for the time being, but we do know that that's an option. I think because that group behind have been fighting with each other non-stop throughout the race, I think we could probably make the hard work. And then, like you say, if there is a late safety car, switch to hards. No, because Gasly is effectively our marker. I think I'm going to stay medium, soft, soft. I'm having to give Lewis some extra room here. Gasly's effectively our marker, isn't he? Because look, Gasly's three-stopping and he's pitting now. I'm going medium, soft, soft. I'm going medium, soft, soft. They're three-stopping. And I'll just be faster than them at the end of the race. Well, Lewis is more than welcome to overtake me here. So it means that I'll get DRS. I've got to medium, soft, soft now. Surely, if they're pitting already, they are going mediums. Okay, so they're two-stopping as well. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go to the end on those medium tyres. This is the hardest pit strategy call I think I've ever had. I think they're genuinely going to be able to... I think our tyre weigh is just super high, and they're genuinely going to be able to take those tyres to the end. My thought process was that they would go soft, 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 medium, but they're not. They're going soft, soft, medium. So, in essence, I am doing an extra pit stop than them as per where we were, not on the same strategy. When Gasly was 4 seconds behind me, I thought we both had two stops left. But it appears that they only had 1 stop left and I have 2 stops left. Unless I now go to a hard and then I've only got... Then that's it. We both run our pit strategy and it's a case of whether they can catch me, hards or mediums. But there was only a 4-second gap. So surely on mediums, they catch me. I'm going hard, soft, soft. I'm going medium, soft, soft. I'll extend this set to lap 27 as originally planned. And we will go medium, soft, soft. Alex Albon's in the pits again. Or Seb Vettel, one of the two. It might be Sebastian, TVH. Hi, Max. How are you, mate? Max and Sainz. Both probably going to storm past me sooner rather than later. It's about losing as little time as possible. We know we're going to lose the position. It's just about losing as little time as possible. And they really are tucked right up behind me. Jesus Christ, Carlos. Give me a fair or hefty whack there. Thankfully, I don't think either of us picked up any damage from that. Carlos Sainz just arrived on the outside of me and was battering his way past.
Caution, caution.
Yellow flag in front. I think it's a Mercedes going slowly. It is a Mercedes going slowly. It's Mercedes retiring that. It's Lewis Hamilton out of the Grand Prix. That's a position gained. Ta very much. It was George that retired last time. It's Lewis that retires this time. Mercedes have, by a long stretch, the best car on the grid. They just can't seem to put the finishes together. They're like IRL Ferrari. I'm going to box this lap for softs.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
We will come out 10th. And then just have to gun it as best we possibly can. I'll actually come out. If you see, if you look at the mini map, Albon in the green dot is 9th. And he reckons I'll come out 10th. So I will come out right with Russell and Leclerc and Gasly. I'll come out with them. Then I have to basically extend a pit stop to then pit again and catch them and overtake them. And now reckons I'll come out 12th. So I'm basically going to come out right next to them. And then I need to make the softs work for me. If I could have come out in front of that battle, that would have been preferable. But coming out with it isn't too much of a massive concern. So we will box this lap. Oh, wrong button. Pitting for a set of softs. Still aiming, hopefully, for a points finish. Come on. 2.4 seconds. Good, lads. Good stop. Here goes nothing. Time to get after that lot. We come out in P12. Yuki's right there. Now we don't believe those that went soft, soft, medium, I don't believe they've got another stop. It does mean they're going to be so slow at the end. They should be really slow at the end of the Grand Prix. As slow as we were, if not slower. Their tyres are going to be really warm. There's still 25 laps to go and they've been on those mediums for a few laps already. 4.8 seconds the gap in front. I need to close that sharpish. But what doesn't help is that Gasly's able to DRS off the back of the Ferrari and the Mercedes and get away. Need the Ferrari and the Mercedes to be able to pull away from Pierre now. So as it stands, we are P12 with one stop to do. I don't think if I'd have switched to the hards, albeit 3 laps earlier, I'd have come out 10th, maybe even 9th, but then I'd have just got swallowed by those behind, and I definitely would have finished behind them. By running the soft, so at least give myself a chance.
Okay,
Soft
no
tyres
issue
at
with tyre wear for now.
40%
Taking care
worn.
of them.
And we're in for our second and final stop. We should come out right with Yuki. Thank you for the bits, Connor. I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you? We should come out maybe a second or 2 behind Yuki. So we'll definitely finish 12th at least. It's just a case of whether we can somehow manage to catch Pierre Gasly. And I'm still sure that Alexander Albon has another pit stop to make.
From you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with
Sure
that.
he has another pit stop to make.
Pit strategy complete.
We're going to come up behind Zhou Guanyu and maybe even Sebastian Vettel as well. There's so much for a P14, eh? These guys are on worn mediums now, so they should just be easy pickings. Excuse me, Seb. Got so much more grip than the Aston Martin. Ta-ta, sunshine. Jesus Christ. We're a lot further away from
That brings you up a place.
Tsunoda than I thought we would be. Thought we'd be much closer to Yuki. They are starting to get past Alex Albon in front now. If you look at the minimap, right at the top of the minimap, George Russell is now past Alex Albon as well. Either Albon is going to try and stay on those medium tyres till they either burst or the race finishes, or he's got to pit again. Excuse me, senor. P13.
And you're in P13.
Now the Ferrari's passed Albon as well. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 1:33.1. Of course, unless you're in the top 10, you don't get a point for fastest lap. We will probably end the race 11th or 12th. If Albon is able to make this strategy of soft medium work, he is a god. If he can make soft medium work, he is a strategy F1 tyre saving god, Alex Albon. Another fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 32.9.
Gap to your teammate behind is 28.0 seconds.
If Albon does stop though, he should get the fastest lap. Although we thought the same of Hamilton at the last Grand Prix and he didn't. Hi Yuki, DRS please, thank you. Nice one, Connor. 2 podium finishes is no mean feat with McLaren. Bonjour, Yuki-san. Au revoir, Yuki-san. You can see, judging by the gaps behind now to the cars we overtook, just how much extra pace we have over those manufacturers. over those constructors, sorry, over those cars, that regardless of driver, we are significantly faster than Tsunoda and Vettel. But because they've been able to cling to the DRS of those around them, Albon and Gasly are going to get much better finishes. Because since Gasly dropped off the back of the Ferrari and the Mercedes of Leclerc and Russell, we've halved the gap from 20 to nearly 10. But because he's been in the DRS of a Ferrari and a Mercedes for 20 plus laps of this Grand Prix, he's gotten so much further down the road than ordinarily he would have done, and ourselves running in free air but with no DRS haven't been able to get the aggregate race time down. I don't think we would have finished anywhere better had we gone to hard tyres. And at least we got some overtaking action in by doing the soft stint that we did. But it's just the nature of the DRS system that has meant that Gasly and Albon are uncatchable. As it stands, though, we do still have the fastest lap of the race. We should hold that until the end of the race. But it's going to be a P12 start, followed by a P12 finish here in France. And then we'll switch to F1 Manager and go and record a couple of races on there as well. In the end, we did need almost all of that extra fuel.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
So this car is disgustingly, or this Ferrari engine is disgustingly fuel heavy. We started the race with 5.5 laps worth of extra fuel, in theory, and then gained an extra lap via the safety car, and is still, with no fuel saving whatsoever, going to end up with almost all of that extra fuel used. So I will have needed an extra 6.5 to 7 laps worth of extra fuel to do this Grand Prix. And we've upgraded our fuel efficiency quite a bit. So we are having to run very heavy at every Grand Prix at the minute. I don't know whether that's having a negative effect on our overall performances. I don't think so too much at the moment. Max Verstappen wins another Grand Prix. Lewis retired. George Russell had a retirement in the last Grand Prix and then a dead qualifying at this one. And he's only going to finish in about P6. We're going to finish P12, which is where we started, and about on pace where we are as a team. And like we say, I don't think going medium hard or medium soft would have changed the outcome of that Grand Prix in the slightest. I think we would have finished 12th either which way. But you saw how the gap closed on Gasly and Albon. So if they hadn't had DRS on each other, or on George and Leclerc, or various other drivers throughout the race, we might have finished in the points today. But it's still a strong race, and certainly better at France than we traditionally do. A Red Bull 1-3, and Carlos Sainz finishes P2 in the end, so fair play to him. Max Verstappen trying to close down Charles Leclerc at the top of the standings, I believe. We get fastest lap, but of course no point for it. And in the standings, Max has closed the gap to 35 to Charles Leclerc. Sainz is now down to third. George Russell's up to a higher position. We still obviously sixth. Not going to catch McLaren. Trying to stay ahead of AlphaTauri, thankfully. It was only Gasly gaining a single point today. And Yuki Tsunoda was behind me. So we're relatively comfortable in the constructors. We should personally be able to score some points between now and the end of the season. Jenson Button didn't set the world alight in that Grand Prix, but he wasn't any worse than Nico Hülkenberg. So And cost the same as Nico Hulkenberg, so it doesn't really matter which way round we did it. Which way round we did it, does it? I'll do the weight training to improve his pace and focus as we move towards the Hungarian Grand Prix. I do have 1,600 resource points now, so I should be able to afford to do either the front or rear down. I can't afford the front. I can afford the rear downforce. Now, fuel-wise, I can't upgrade any more yet anyway. I can only do the ERS, and that's literally all I can do on the powertrain. We've got 17 of 23 there, 14 here, and 13 here. So we will do the rear downforce. 30% chance of failure, but we should get that done. Won't be ready until after the Belgian Grand Prix, though, unfortunately. A number of the upgrades we currently have in progress will be ready prior to the Belgian Grand Prix. As we approach, please pass the front wing end plates. Thank you. So, as we approach the Hungarian Grand Prix, we are now, on paper, the 5th fastest team. Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, ourselves. Sorry, Mercedes, Red Bull, Alpine, Ferrari, ourselves. We're the 5th fastest team on paper. So now we should be scoring points. On paper, we should be scoring points for the first time in this save. So fingers crossed, we can do that. Although at Hungary, it's not going to be easy. It's not a track I'm very strong at. I need to put a new turbo in, but we'll do that after practice. We'll need to put a new gearbox in as well, but we'll do that after practice. But that will be all for this YouTube video of this particular series. I'm now going to go and record some F1 Manager. So do stick around on stream and make sure on YouTube you are subscribed to the channel and you won't miss out on anything. Drop the video a like, make sure you are subbed, and follow the link in the description to Twitch. You can come and watch these live. Thank you very much for watching this YouTube video. I'll see you next time.